रंग मन में दिखाए, साचा रूप साचा रंग मन में दिखाए, साचा रूप साचा रंग मन में दिखाए, प्रकाशित हृदय में ईश्वर। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Together we'll chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verses 1 to 10.
ॐ अथ चतुर्दशोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच परं भूयः प्रवक्ष्यामि ज्ञानानां ज्ञानमुत्तमम् यज्ञात्वा मुनयः सर्वे परां सिद्धिमितो गताः। इदं ज्ञानमुपाश्रित्य मम साधर्म्यमागताः। सर्गेऽपि नोपजायन्ते प्रलये न व्यथन्ति च। मम योनिर्महद्ब्रह्म तस्मिन् गर्भं दधाम्यहम्। सम्भवः सर्वभूतानां ततो भवति भारत। सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिः अहं बीजप्रदः पिता। सत्त्वं रजस्तम इति गुणाः प्रकृतिसम्भवाः निबध्नन्ति महाबाहो देहे देहिनमव्ययम्। तत्र सत्त्वं निर्मलत्वात् प्रकाशकमनामयम्। सुखसङ्गेन बध्नाति ज्ञानसङ्गेन चानघ। रजो रागात्मकं विद्धि तृष्णासङ्गसमुद्भवम्। तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय कर्मसङ्गेन देहिनम् तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनाम् प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत सत्त्वं सुखे सञ्जयति रजः कर्मणि भारत ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः प्रमादे सञ्जयत्युत रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय सत्त्वं भवति भारत रजः सत्त्वं तमश्चैव तमः सत्त्वं रजस्तथा
So we studied about how my womb is great Brahma, and in that I place the seed. Thence arises birth of all beings, O Bharata. My womb is great Brahma. Why is it my womb? It's my womb because everything is the Lord's. Like the desert can say, my mirage, because everything over there is of the desert. So my womb implies the oneness of the Lord with creation. There is a belief that there is a God who creates, and separate from him is a world. But that's not so. The world itself is God. It is the cotton itself which is the cloth. It is the gold itself which is the ornament. When you see the Nama Rupa, what you see is jewelry. What the goldsmith sees is the gold. The gold itself is the jewelry. What is jewelry but the Nama Rupa, the name and forms given to that gold? So, my womb means it expresses the oneness of the creation and the creator. The rope and the snake are not different. The gold and the jewelry are not different. In some sense, of course, they're different. So when people say they're different, they are meaning it in that particular sense. People meaning the wise sages. So in a sense, God and creation is the same thing. In a sense, they are different. They are same and different, just like the rope and the snake are same and different. When you see a snake, you're actually seeing the rope. There is nothing there other than the rope. Correct? And in a sense, it is different. The snake is different from the rope. So when you start saying the snake is different from the rope, you create Dvaita, the philosophy of two. There is a snake, there is a rope. But when you say the snake is the rope, then you create the philosophy of Advaita. That means there are no two things. So he is talking about Advaita here, where he talks about my womb. No difference between us. Yes, Deepraj.
I mean, it's not necessarily that he means that. I mean, that's just for example, in most cases in the world, we see the creator is always separate from the creation, right? When we make furniture, we take the raw materials, we make furniture. So all other instances we say different, and we can say, well, that is my furniture. Doesn't necessarily mean it is me. So how does it, in this case, it implies that?
Okay, I have two things to say. I mean, I don't have two things to say. I've got two quotes to give you. One from Adi Shankaracharya. He says, primary premise, which you have to take, is that there is oneness of opinion between the scriptures. It's a premise. You have to take that. That means throughout the Gita or the Brahma Sutras, or when he refers, of course, he's talking about the Prasthanatrayi. So between the Gita, the Upanishad, and the Brahma Sutras, there is oneness of, there's aikyam, there's oneness of idea. There's no contradiction in the ideas given in these three books. Okay, that's point one. Point two is a story that Ramatirtha gives. Ramatirtha gives, okay, first is it has to be the same between all of them. And you already know what the rest of them are talking about. Okay. Second point is the story that Ramatirtha gives. There's a very famous Western theologian who says exactly what you said, that if I were to see a watch, an intricately designed watch lying around, I would certainly know that this cannot be just a coincidence of creation. There has to be an intelligent creator with an intelligent design. Otherwise, they could not be. Another one says that to say that there is no creator is like saying that there was a whirlwind and suddenly out of that whirlwind came an aeroplane. Since this world is so beautifully designed, it has to imply that there has to be intelligent design. Means there has to be a creator who's intelligent enough to design it this way. This is their theory. Ramatirtha gives the, what should I say, the contradiction. So far, when you hear them, so you're totally convinced that, of course, how can this be? How can this world of such a intricate world be created simply by chance? How is that even possible? It's like an aeroplane being created out of a whirlwind or something. It can't happen. So Ramatirtha gives that story that you see a clock, you see a watch, you know there is a watchmaker. You see a boat, there is a boat maker. You see a shoe, there is a shoemaker. You reduce God to the level of a shoemaker. That's what he says. The concept of intelligent design sounds very, very sort of appealing to most people. I mean, most people don't care about God and who designed the world. But to the people who care, the concept of design sounds very appealing, that there is a creator who creates. But if you start examining this idea, how can that possibly be? Creation is an action. Action requires desire. Desire requires ignorance, vasana. So you want to give God vasanas. If you give God vasanas or desires, he becomes
Human.
Human.
So if you have already accepted all these ideas, then you will be forced to accept this one. There are many reasons against the concept of intelligent design. One of the ones that all the atheists have. The atheists give this whole, they have a whole thing around, if there was an intelligent creator, then he must be pretty dumb because he's not done a good job. So meaning, how do you explain all the negativity in your creation? A God who is all powerful, all knowledgeable, and all benevolent, all good, right? So why would he create negativity? Is it because he's not benevolent, so he wants negative things to happen to us? Is it because he's powerless? So though he doesn't want bad things to happen to us, he's powerless, so bad things happen to us. Or he has the power and he has the wish, but he doesn't have the knowledge of how to keep negativity away from him. But if you claim he is all knowledgeable, all powerful, and all good, then you cannot explain negativity. Any form of negativity. Why is there death? Why is there sin? Why is there poverty? Why is there crime? How would you explain this? What is your God doing? Right? So if you accept the oneness of all the scriptures, you will have to go with the theory that my womb means that the world and I are not separate. Otherwise, what is the meaning of my womb? I mean, like, how does he claim it as his?
Because if he claims it as his creation, then we'll give him desires by that logic.
Yes. And no, over here he's saying, I placed the seed. So what is this my womb in which I'm placing the seed? Okay, I created it, but then what is the second entity? So he seems to have given us, there is a womb and there is I placing a seed. Then you'll have to now explain womb. There's I, there is seed, and there is womb. You're multiplying entities. It's Oxham's razor. Are you familiar with the concept of Oxham's razor? Oxham's razor is you keep on taking smaller and smaller slices, and by that creating more and more entities. Okay, we've done too much of philosophy now, so we'll let it go. I mean, academic philosophy. Because
So
if
if we
want too
take
much, Mahesh is going to start in a moment.
So if we take the womb to be separate from Brahman, then we run into the problems of there being multiplicity, and the scriptures say that there is no multiplicity. And
No, the
because
scriptures all say the same thing. In the Upanishads, they're very clear, right? There's no debate on that. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi nedam yadidam upasate. That alone is Brahman, not what you people worship here. I mean, there is no dichotomy there. So if that is what that means, this is what this means. Because the Shastras have Aikyam, non-contradiction, the principle of non-contradiction. None of the scriptures can contradict each other. That's Shankara's principle. Because you remember there used to be debates at that time. So in the debate, people would say, but that scripture says that, so therefore you are wrong. So he used the principle of non-contradiction. So you
which
cannot
is
have a creator.
which is sensible to do, because if it's the truth, it should be the same.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hariom Janki ji, can I ask a question or is there someone else?
Yeah, one second.
All right.
Prashant has a question. Isn't the concept of Maya to nullify the effect of creator? Yes, it is. I'm not effect of creator. It is given alternative explanation to the concept of a creator. Okay, Prashant. Yes, Ganesh.
Hariom madam. So I think the explanation seems very logical, but why are we studying spirit plus matter is equal to individual? It should be one, right? And just a follow-up question. See, there are three states, dream, waking, and deep sleep.
Shall we do your questions one at a time or are they connected?
Connected.
Okay.
So I think the waking state is the most troublesome. Others, we wake up and we are aware of, this is my understanding. In the Gita and all of that, why don't we focus on just saying that the waking state doesn't exist, but there is a whole theory of everything, right? So can you just throw light? I think they are two separate questions. I'm sorry. So first question would be spirit plus matter. Why are we studying that? And second question would be that.
Okay. So first question is, why are we studying spirit and matter separately? As if there are two things. It is like we discussed earlier, the rope and the snake are the same in one sense. And in another sense, the rope and the snake are different. So what is the snake? It is really just the rope. But is the snake that you're seeing the rope? No. The snake that you're seeing is not the rope. That which is the substratum of the snake that you are seeing is the rope. So when we start explaining it, it comes to two things: the snake that you see and the rope that is really there. When these two things meet, you have what is known as the snake. If the two were not there, there'd be no snake. Therefore, you say spirit plus matter. Yeah.
So both are one
In a sense.
for
Yeah.
self-realized and people who are okay, understood.
Yes.
And-
But in another sense, they're different. One is a rope, one is a snake. Their characteristics are different. If you look at it, break it down. Are the characteristics of the rope and the characteristics of the snake the same?
No.
They are the same. Where you are saying that there is a snake,
Exactly.
which is 3 inches thick, which is coiled, which is black, all these are characteristics of the rope. Then why are you saying the characteristics of the snake are different? Because though you are seeing the characteristics of the rope, your entire experience of it is completely different. So if I say, is it the same or is it different? Are the characteristics same or are they different? You struggle to answer that question because in a sense they are same and in a sense they're different. Both of them are 3 inches the thick and black and coiled and lying in that particular place. Same characteristics. But one is a cause of fear. One is like you don't even care whether it's lying there or not. One is one you feel is out to attack you. The other one is least bothered about you being there or not. So in a sense same and in a sense different. When we are saying different, we say there are two things. There is a rope and there is a snake.
Got it, ma'am. Thank you so much. And the second,
Can I come in?
Is it about this or something else? Because we'll
No,
finish.
just the earlier question of negativity.
Let me finish with Ganesh
Okay.
and we'll come to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Deep Raj, that explains the ego. That's correct. The ego and the self are the same, except they are viewed differently. All right. What was your second question? What was your second question, Ganesh?
why don't we just all the scriptures we have, say even Vedanta treatise and the Bhagavad Gita has steps, right? I understand those steps, but why can't we just focus on saying that the waking state doesn't exist? Because once we tell that, then automatically we get self-realized. Because after dream we are waking up. I know it's not as easy as it sounds, but there are steps. Why are those steps there and not just focus on saying that the waking state is false? That's my question.
Because if you simply focus on saying the waking state is false, you will become a hypocrite. A hypocrite is a person who says something but believes something else. If you claim that the waking state is false, right, then do you realize what will be the consequence of that? You will not care in this world whether anybody lives or dies. You will not care in this world whether you are in hospital or out of it. You will not care for anything because it's not happening. But you think it is happening. And now when you think it's happening, if you claim it's not happening, it's just a lie. You'll just mess it up. Take an example of being in the dream. You are in the dream. You are in the jungles with your guru. Your guru is telling you that, oh, Bharat, you are not this Bharat. You are Ganesh sleeping peacefully at home with Lieutenant Colonel, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Lieutenant Colonel. You're sleeping home peacefully at home with Lieutenant Colonel. His wife is a Lieutenant Colonel, by the way. And that's Ganesh there, sleeping peacefully in Navy Nagar, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Navy Nagar. in your nice air-conditioned bedroom. You're not Bharat in the jungle over here. So Bharat in the jungle says, okay, fine, then I must be Ganesh. I'm going to think I'm Ganesh. And I'm going to say I'm Ganesh. And I'm not going to assert that I am Bharat. Bharat in the jungle. Then while they're sitting there, they can hear a tiger. And the Guru says, there's a tiger. Quick, run. Run up that tree quickly. And then Bharat in the jungle says, Are, you just told me that I am at home sleeping peacefully in Navy Nagar. And now you're telling me run up a tree. Why? If it is a dream, then this tiger is a dream. Why am I supposed to climb a tree? So the Guru will say to you, when the tiger comes and catches you and mauls you, and you are suffering in pain, I know it's a dream. You don't know it's a dream. You climb a tree. Get it? As
Understood.
long as you believe in the reality of something, you have to behave as if that thing is real. Otherwise, you face the consequences. You cannot behave like it's an illusion and then suddenly your child is bit by a mad dog. Will you say it's a dream? Or will you run and get all hassled and worked up? So it's become hypocrisy to say that it's a dream. You have to know at the back of your mind that the reality of this may not be what I'm experiencing. You have to know this at the back of your mind. You've got to go through the steps of getting out.
So even a self-realized person will take his child to the hospital, obviously, right?
Now think carefully what you're saying. Self-realized person means a person who's woken up. So your question is like, okay, now I'm in the dream. So this waker who I meet in this dream, he will also take his child to the hospital. You're saying he's a waker. He's not there anymore.
Okay. He's not there in the dream anymore.
He's woken up. You say, no, but I am seeing him. That's your dream, not his dream.
Okay. I think the last statement is tough to digest, but I think I'll think over it.
Yes, if this was easy to digest, the whole world will become Vedantins. So we don't have to, struggle with the final ideas. You have to struggle with the next step that I have to. That's why steps come in.
Okay, thank you.
Ajay Kasotia.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. On the question of negativity, what you say, what my take is, the universe is perfect. There are no binaries, good, bad, right, wrong. They are all created by humans. It is a human construct from our perception. What we perceive as negative is just the opposite of what we perceive. It is like a thesis is created, then the universe create an antithesis, and the synthesis comes. Now that is the evolutionary process. There is nothing like negative. So in that way, the whole universe is evolving. So there is nothing like negativity. Negativity is our human construct. That is how I visualize.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, this is an argument that the atheists give, so you can give your argument to them and see if that satisfies them. It's not an argument we have.
Yeah,
So
okay.
different philosophers take different positions.
But that is more attuned to what the universe is there. It cannot be imperfect. It has to be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, tell
But
that to a mother whose child is suffering from cancer. Tell that to a person who's suffering from starvation and penury. I don't know whether they will accept this idea.
the
When we
acceptance
don't
or
have
not, it is
problems,
a separate issue. But the fact remains it is. My point is.
well, it's all depends on where one stands and
Yeah.
what one is seeing. So for those who claim there is negativity, whether they would accept that your stance that there is none, you will have to discuss with them and see what happens.
Yeah.
Right. So where were we now? We were at Mama Yoni, my womb. Why my womb? Because the whole world is God. Tasmin garbham dadhamyaham. In that garbham dadhami. Aham dadhami. I put the seed in that. I put the seed in that means I give the potential. How can one deny what one does experience? Yes, correct. Why are you saying that, Momita? Yeah, that's correct. You
No,
cannot.
I just wrote that during Ganesha's question.
Oh, okay. Right. Correct. You can't deny it because you deny what you experience, then where are you going to be standing? At least what you experience, you have to accept, if nothing else. So,
Janki ji, again coming back to the question I'd asked in last class. So can we then conclude that thinking is what is important? I mean, thinking is what helps us discriminate. So the focus here, the effort here is to develop thinking.
I would rather use the term develop understanding because thinking can become a many branched exercise. So develop true understanding. So when you develop true understanding, everything you begin to take in your stride.
Right. So the effort is to develop discrimination. That is the effort. And again, that effort relies on thinking. So it all comes down to how I think.
All three, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. If you do not do the actions, you will never know whether your thinking is right or not. See, when we are sitting in our armchair and coming up with theories, it's very easy in life. When those theories have to give results in the actual world, then we know whether that works or doesn't work.
Okay. So the focus is effort.
Yes, in understanding. So how do you understand? By tuning up your actions, tuning up your emotions, tuning up your thinking.
So again, it is action over thinking. It's for action.
It's not over anything. It's all going together. Because these are your safety devices. They are what keep you in place. It's almost like, when they do brain surgery, they lock the head into position with the screws there, something along there. Lock it into position. Because this person shouldn't move. If he is cutting something and the person decides to suddenly move, we cut the wrong thing off in the brain. And, it has to be very, very perfect. Otherwise, paralyze the individual. So they lock into position. So these three parts lock you into position on the path. And you don't budge here and there. So if you make a mistake in thinking, your action will sort you out. If you make an mistake in action, your thinking will sort you out. If action and thinking together create ego, devotion will sort that out. So it's sort of like what should I say? It's a three-pronged safety device you have.
Okay. Right. I don't know why I'm still struggling with the thinking being the point of it all.
In a sense, it is, because unless your theory is right, everything else is going to go wrong.
Exactly.
Will you know that it's gone wrong unless you actually do it? People have so many theories in the world, right? But they don't execute that theory. And unless you execute that theory, you won't know whether that theory works or not. Like, for instance, I'll give you yesterday's example. Okay, Momita, like everybody else who's doing Karma Yoga over here, has found out that everybody is doing whatever they're doing and they're not talking to one another. So Mahesh doesn't know what Momita is doing. Momita doesn't know what Ganesh is doing. Ganesh doesn't know what Deepraj is doing. It's like this many-pronged monster. And everyone is doing a lot of dedicated work, but nobody knows what everybody else is doing. So sometimes it so happens that the most obvious things are not known. For instance, Bharat keeps all the books, may not be known to everybody. Not just books from Vedanta Wisdom Trust, but books from Vedanta Cultural Foundation. That means Swamiji's books also. He keeps EWT books also. He keeps whatever. He keeps everyone's. So we don't know this. How can we not know such a fundamental thing? So therefore, Momita suggested, as has done many people in the past, that we should have some kind of Google sheet where everybody writes down what is happening. And we have tried this experiment many times in the past. Right, Mahesh? Ask Mahesh. He knows all the various experiments that have been tried, how much they succeeded, how much they failed. Right? So the point is correct that we must all know what one another we are doing, so that we can go as one group forward instead of just being totally focused on what we are doing. Point is correct. Now, how do we get this communication between everyone? Google Sheet is the most obvious thing. Why doesn't everybody just write everything down? When you start it, you find nobody writes anything. Or they write it for a second time and they don't write it after that. Some people don't read, some people don't write, and we continue to be in the same position we always were. So having a theory is easy. Only when you start executing that you begin to find out whether it works or doesn't work. Now, as you go forward, as we keep working, we will find so many that don't work. But new people, every time they come in, they will start with the same thing again. They said, no, but you must do this. We tried doing it, it didn't work. Do this, do that, do that, do this. First, you have to find out what has been tried already, how much in the past it has been tried. Suppose I give you a further piece of info. We tried this 15 years. Suppose I tell you. Then you can easily say, but that was 15 years ago. Things have changed. So let's try it again. But if I tell you, well, you tried this last year, then may or may not be worth trying again. So you have to, sort of take all these various theories, take a lot of facts, figure out whether it's going to work. And if you believe it's going to work, then you do it. And then see whether it worked or not. So all that thinking has to lead to an action. If I say this to Raj, if I behave like this with Raj, it will work. Suppose I say, then do it. Did it work? If I say all this thing to Anshul, then it will get this result. Then do and see whether that result comes. So unless you do it, we just get like these older people in life full of theories. ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा होना चाहिए क्या? जाके करो देखो. One man, I still remember him. He was just a dreamer. He never did anything in life. He said there's so much traffic problem in Mumbai. It's a very, very simple solution. So I said, yeah, really? What's the simple solution? He said, wherever there is a road, you just make another road on top of it. So you double all the roads. That's a good suggestion. Why don't you go to the municipality or whoever and see? Ho sakta hai kya? Suppose you're living on the second story of a building. Do you want the road to go outside your window? So go do and see, no? It's so easy to sit back in your armchair and say, this is a great idea. I can solve everybody's problem. Aajao mere paas. So in theory, everything is easy, but when you do it, then you begin to figure out.
Then we are faced with a plural world. Thank you.
Yes, Aditi.
So Janki ji, is this analogy correct? Like if we are thinking the battery of a torch to be the thought process, that alone cannot light the torch. You need the bulb inside and you need the positive and negative connection inside in order for the torch to light up. Would this be a correct analogy?
Yes.
Maybe karma, bhakti and gyan together. We're just only concentrating on the battery.
Yes, you need everything. You need all aspects of it because You do only karma, you can veer off in one direction. You do only bhakti, you veer off in one other direction. You do jnana, you veer off in a third direction. But these three lock you into position on the path. You've got to do them. They are each other's safety device. Yes, so you can say that you need all parts for it to work. You can also say that if it's a auto rickshaw, then you need all three wheels. I can't say
Yes.
car because otherwise we have to explain the fourth wheel. But the
Hatha
fourth
yoga.
wheel is Hatha Yoga here. So, but these three lock you into position, and of course, you have to take care of your body as well.
Thank you.
So, I hope this part is clear that the non-apprehension is caused by Brahman. How is non-apprehension caused by Brahman?
Because if there was no Brahman, how can we misunderstand it?
Very good. Unless the object exists, the potential for not knowing the object as the object cannot exist. If there is Mr. Banerjee, there is a potential for not knowing Mr. Banerjee as Mr. Banerjee. But if there is no Mr. Banerjee, where is this potential supposed to come from? So Brahman says, I am the potential. I give that potential. And then, of course, there is the womb, there is the beings. The beings are what? The gross bodies. All the various gross bodies have come about. Right, so we have done up to verse 4. Now let's go on to verse 5. So far, so good, right? Here we start the second topic. Sattvam rajastama iti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinamavyayam sattvam rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinamavyayam. Okay, so what did he just tell us? Matter plus spirit, or spirit plus matter is equal to the individual. So what is your role in life? That you have to get rid of the matter, so the individuality goes, and what is left is Brahman. This is clear, right, to everybody? Does anyone have a problem with this fundamental idea? Or is this much clear? This fundamental idea is clear, right? Let me see. Is anybody new? Can everybody please at least put your name? I know you all are not putting on your video, but at least put your name so I know whether you're new or old. And therefore, more or less likely to know what we're talking about. Right? Anyone has got any problem with the fundamental idea? That you are Brahman, encompassed by matter layers. You have to remove the matter layers, and what remains is Brahman. What goes is your individuality or ego. This much is clear? No debate, right? Right. Because that's an important thing to understand before we go into the second topic of this chapter, which is the nature of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, and how they bind beings. So in your formula, there is Brahman, there is spirit, plus matter. Matter can be classified as Sattvic, Rajasic, or Tamasic. Tamasic means that it is lazy, indolent, ignorant, based in inertia. Right? There's either no activity or there is no new thought. It is only the continuance of the past, or it is no action, or simply the continuance of whatever is going on in the past. That is known as tamas. It is based in ignorance. Rajas is lot of activity, lot of agitation, lot of what should I say? Competition, agitation, activity. All of this full scale is going on.
Attachment.
Attachment, all of that will come under Rajas. And Tamas and Sattva is transactive, poised, balanced, noble, clear. All of these are sattvic qualities. So all of us want to do what?
Guru Sattva.
Sattva.
We all want to become sattva. What is the Lord telling us? This is a false ambition. I am not saying Baba, the Lord is saying. I am going to read it to you now.
We all want a golden cage.
We all want a golden cage. Now look what he's saying. Sattvam Rajah Tama Iti Gunaha. So iti means like a quote. Sattva Rajah Tama Tamaha Iti. Iti means like a quote, it's end of. Iti Gunaha. These are the gunas. Prakriti Sambhavaha. Prakriti you understand. Nature. Sambhavaha you understand. What is the word Sambhavaha? Can anyone break the samas? Please come to Sanskrit class. Nobody has any knowledge of what is going on.
Born out of.
Yes, born out of, comes out of. So where does Sattva, Rajas and Tamas come? It comes out of Prakriti. Prakrityaha Sambhavaha. It is born out of Prakriti. Right? So in our formula, matter, spirit plus matter is equal to individual. Matter is divided into Tamas, Rajas and Sattva. Nibadnanti Mahabahu. Nibadnanti. Bandnati you understand. Bandhan karta hai. Nibadnanti. That means really binds. Mahabaho. Oh Mahabaho. I hope you are able to see the irony of this. Oh Mahabaho, oh mighty armed, oh powerful Arjuna, you are bound. It's like saying, oh Bill Gates, you are bound. Oh Narendra Modi, you are bound. The irony of this. Nibadnanti Mahabaho, oh strong armed one, they bind you. They bind the self to this finite being. It ties you up to your individuality. So the goal of spiritual growth is not sattva. You can read over here yourself. I am not making this up. Sattva, Rajas, Tama, Iti Gunaha, Prakriti Sambhavaha, Nibadnanti Mahabahu. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, these gunas, qualities, born of Prakriti, matter, bind the indestructible. Dehe dehesmin avyayam. They bind this avyayam. That which cannot be bound, that which cannot be destroyed has been bound. The irony of all of this. They bind. You are a strong person. You are bound, but you are not capable of being bound. Just back and forth, make up your mind now. Are we small and bound? Are we big and bound? Are we bound at all? Said it all. You are Mahabhav. You are the all-powerful. You are the indestructible. And yet you are bound by what? Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva, which are not capable of binding. is like tying a tiger with a hair. How can you do that? Can't be done. And yet it is done. You know how it is done? The bondage that it is not capable of giving you, it gives you because of your attachment to it. Such an important concept for us to get. Has your car got any capacity to tie you up? It doesn't have that capacity. And yet you're tied up to the car. Has any human being got this capacity to tie you up? No. And yet you're tied up. It's a very, very strange and ironical phenomenon. Happiness and sorrow are within you. They're not outside of you. Then how can outside things generate all that in you? They cannot generate it in others. How do they generate it in me? Here is this boy. He is my son. His name is, give him a name, Tom. Tom is my son. When I look at Tom, I am all like, oh my God, what will happen to Tom? How handsome Tom is. Tom should get the world's most beautiful wife. No girl is good enough for him. So many things I think, right? About this Tom, imaginary Tom, okay? I don't have any son called Tom. This imaginary Tom has created so much enthusiasm in my life. Has it created any enthusiasm or any of all of this in your life? Then how does Tom get the ability to make me get all worked up? It is not Tom himself, but my attachment to Tom. Because that same Tom to others, even they're not noticing it. So, that which cannot be bound by something is being bound by that thing. That's what we got to understand. Nobody can make you feel unhappy. And yet people do. How can anyone make you feel unhappy? Happiness, unhappiness is in my heart, right? And yet they do. Nobody can make you cry. And yet they do. How does that happen? It is not because they have the capacity, but because we have given them that capacity. Once you recognize that, you can simply take it back. I gave you the power. I am the one who gave you the power. I am the one who can take it back. But I can't take it back. That's the whole problem in life. Because I have created so many loops. It is called karma bandhana. So many loops. So here he is telling us these three qualities bind us. Are they capable of binding us? No. Is my individuality capable of binding me? No. I am the self. How can anything bind me? It's crazy. There is nothing else. So who's going to bind me? Or what is going to bind me? So it's all very confusing. If I am alone, I am the self, I am alone, then what is binding me? If I am the all-powerful, who can bind me? If I am the all-knowledgeable, who can push me off my pedestal? And yet all these things are happening. So therefore that whole bottom line is all ironical. Nibadnanti mahabaho. They bind you, O strong-armed. Dehe, in the body. Dehesmin avyayam. In the body, that embodied, means the self. Embodied means the self. That which is in the body has been bound to the body. So, what is his point? You have to free yourself from the influence of matter. Now, that is easier said than done. बहुत easy है बोलना. Free yourself from the influence of matter. So, what do? We go step by step. Ganesh, here is where your steps come. First, get rid of tamas. How do you get rid of tamas? You inject
Action.
rajas. Very good. Then, having come to action, now what do? Now you move that to sattva. When you come to sattva, you will think, oh, I am such a sattvic person. He says, Nibadnanti Mahabhav. They tie you. Please get out of sattva to the self. Right? So you have to do this step by step. You cannot possibly say, okay, I'm going to get rid of matter. You can't. First, we start with the grossest thing. We get rid of that. What is gross in our personality? I cannot get up every day and go to do exercise. So get up and go and do it. Grossest things. Right? My room is a mess. Clean that room. Grossest, you start with the grossest. And then you start seeing more, you start seeing more, you start seeing more. Until you see so much that you're delighted with yourself. Know that your troubles are starting whenever you get delighted like that with yourself. Bharat. Thought association with the aid of the 3 gunas is equal to bondage. Is that correct? Thought association with the aid of the 3. No, over here what he's talking about is you are bound to the gunas themselves. He's not, those examples were given as an example. It's okay, Deepraj, it's going to get better. Don't feel bad. You can take it easy. Deepraj has given up now. That all those examples were examples of bondage by things that can't bind you. So now he has gone a step further. He's saying the gunas are binding. So it's not thought association with the aid of the gunas. It is thought association with the gunas. You believe those gunas are you. So no, that is not correct. It is thought association with the gunas, not with the aid of the gunas. It is our belief that the gunas is me. These good qualities is me. These bad qualities are me. These beliefs he is talking about. But the 3 gunas are also thought textures. So only thoughts bind. Yes. Only thoughts bind.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Aditi.
Janki ji, is it linear, tamas, rajas and sattva? I personally feel they can't be linear. There are lots of times that you may have rajas or sattva in a particular thing and have tamas. And you may keep moving up, but the tamas can remain in certain things. So it's not linear. So how do you say that move up from tamas to rajas and then finally to sattva? Because there will be certain tamasic and rajasic qualities along the way also every single time you're moving up. So
Yes,
that's my question.
they are linear in that area. So
Okay.
let us say that you can be tamasic in I don't know, keeping your room clean, but you could be very rajasic at work, and you could be sattvic in terms of wanting to help people. Right?
Yes.
So now, where there is tamas, that means you're keeping your room a mess, you inject rajas. You say, how can I live in this pigsty? You inject rajas.
Okay.
Right? Now, where you're rajasic, like you're getting all worked up at work, for instance, then you inject tamas. Why am I just helping people? Why is all my work not an attitude of service? So in each stream, it's linear. The lowest of that stream is tamas.
Okay.
And rajas and sattva.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So that sattva, rajas, tamas, these qualities born of prakriti, these are what? They are only a classification of prakriti. They bind the indestructible embodied to the body, meaning They make Brahman believe that it is this limited, restricted personality. Oh, Ravi Chabra, you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. I have put up this in the chat also. My
Okay.
question is that these three qualities, tamas, rajas, and sattva, as Aditi has also mentioned, don't they coexist in different proportions? Like, for
Yes.
example, at some time I may be having tamas, or sometimes rajas may be taking precedence. So we have to live with the situation. One cannot be always the sattva, one cannot be always rajas for that matter, isn't it?
Uh,
My my
in
question is
every
my question is that we have to live with this condition that all three will coexist in different proportion at different time.
they currently exist in different proportions at different times, but you don't need to live with it. Wherever there is tamas, you can push it to rajas. Wherever there is rajas, you can push it to sattva. Wherever there is sattva, you can push it higher. But yes, all three coexist, but in different
But
areas.
but rajas means action. That means we have to take action, isn't it?
No, rajas doesn't
No.
mean action. Rajas means desire-ridden action.
Oh, it's not so simple, right? Okay.
Rajas is the quality of selfishness, of longing, of craving. Remember, this is a classification of thoughts. So those thoughts which are ignorant are tamas. Those which are like craving, longing, greed, desiring, all this is rajas. And sattva is poised, balance, clear. All these are sattvic. Okay, so that's it for today.